The 1952 Toyota SG truck occupies an important place in the early history of and in the rebuilding era of post-war Japan. Although it was a simple light-duty commercial vehicle, the SG represented far more than basic transportation. It became a symbol of economic recovery, industrial progress, and Toyota's growing ambition to become a serious automotive manufacturer. In an era when Japan was recovering from the devastation of World War II, dependable trucks were essential for rebuilding businesses, transporting goods, supporting agriculture, and helping local economies function again. The SG truck answered those needs with simplicity, durability, and practicality. The SG truck was introduced in February 1952 as an improved successor to Toyota's earlier SB truck series. Toyota engineers spent nearly 2 years refining the design to create a more practical and modern vehicle. The SG retained the compact dimensions and efficiency that Japanese customers needed, but it introduced significant improvements in comfort, chassis strength, usability, and styling. These refinements reflected Toyota's philosophy of continuous improvement, later known worldwide as Kaizen. Every new model was expected to solve problems discovered in earlier vehicles and provide better value to customers. At the time, Japan's automotive industry was still relatively small and fragile. Fuel shortages, limited industrial resources, and damaged infrastructure made vehicle production difficult. Roads outside major cities were often rough, muddy, or poorly maintained. Commercial vehicles needed to be strong enough to survive difficult conditions while remaining affordable for small businesses. Toyota understood these realities very well. Instead of focusing on luxury or high performance, the company concentrated on reliability, low operating costs, and durability. The SG truck embodied those principles perfectly. The SG truck was powered by Toyota's Type S engine, a water-cooled inline 4-cylinder side-valve engine with a displacement of 995 cc. The engine produced approximately 28 horsepower at 4,000 revolutions per minute. Toyota-Global.com. Although this output seems extremely small by modern standards, it was considered practical and economical for Japan in the early 1950s. The engine emphasized fuel efficiency and reliability over speed or power. Most roads were unsuitable for high-speed driving anyway, and business owners valued low fuel consumption much more than fast acceleration. The SG's engine was an evolution of earlier Toyota power plants. Engineers improved cooling performance, durability, and maintenance accessibility. Thermostat adoption helped stabilize engine temperature, increasing reliability during long working hours. The side valve design was simple and rugged, making repairs easier for mechanics in rural areas who lacked specialized tools or training. This mechanical simplicity became a major advantage in post-war Japan where service infrastructure was still developing. Dimensionally, the SG truck measured approximately 4,195 mm in length, 1,594 mm in width, and 1,735 mm in height, with a wheelbase of 2,500 mm. Toyota-Global.com compared with the earlier SB truck, the SG's wheelbase increased by about 100 mm. This change improved cabin space, cargo bed size, and ride stability. Toyota engineers enlarged the cargo bed enough to carry a full tatami mat, which reflected the company's careful attention to Japanese customer needs. The wheel housings were also redesigned with flattened tops, making it easier to load and unload cargo. The truck's styling represented an important step forward for Toyota. Earlier utility vehicles often looked extremely basic and utilitarian, but the SG adopted smoother and more modern design elements inspired partly by American trucks of the era. The headlights were integrated into the fenders instead of standing separately, creating a cleaner appearance. The front grille used horizontal slits that gave the truck a more contemporary look. Historians often note similarities between the SG and late 1940s American pickups, especially vehicles produced by Studebaker. Toyota engineers studied foreign designs carefully while adapting them for Japanese conditions. Inside the cabin, the SG remained extremely simple. The dashboard was basic, instrumentation minimal, and seating straightforward. However, compared with earlier commercial trucks, the SG provided better visibility, more cabin room, and improved comfort for drivers who spent long hours on the road. Toyota engineers understood that reducing driver fatigue improved productivity and customer satisfaction. Ride quality was another area of improvement. Japan's rough roads created difficult operating conditions for commercial vehicles. The SG used reinforced leaf spring suspension and front shock absorbers to improve comfort and stability. The frame structure was strengthened to handle heavy loads and uneven terrain. These engineering upgrades made the truck more durable and dependable under demanding working conditions. Despite its compact size and small engine, the SG truck could carry approximately 1 ton of cargo. Toyota-Global.com. This made it ideal for farmers, shop owners, delivery services, and small construction businesses. Japan's economy in the early 1950s depended heavily on local enterprises, and affordable trucks like the SG played a critical role in helping those businesses operate efficiently. Production of the SG took place at Toyota's Kuromo plant, which later became the Honsha plant. Toyota-Global.com. During this period, Toyota was still far from becoming a global automotive giant. Production numbers remained modest compared with American manufacturers, but they were significant within Japan's rebuilding economy. Historical records show that about 7,749 SG truck chassis were produced between February 1952 and October 1953. Toyota-Global.com. One interesting aspect of early Toyota production involved the use of outside body manufacturers. Toyota often produced rolling chassis that were later fitted with specialized bodies by companies such as Kanto Auto Works and Central Motor. Some SG chassis became delivery vans, passenger vehicles, utility trucks, or specialized commercial vehicles depending on customer requirements. This flexible production system helped Toyota serve different industries without developing entirely separate vehicle platforms. The SG truck carried the Toyopet branding, a name created through a public naming competition. Toyota hoped the friendly and approachable name would appeal to ordinary consumers and small business owners. The Toyopet brand became widely recognized in Japan during the 1950s before eventually disappearing from most international markets. Driving an SG truck today would feel extremely primitive compared with modern vehicles. Steering would be heavy because there was no power assistance. The manual transmission required deliberate shifting effort, and braking performance was modest. Acceleration was slow, and top speed limited. Yet for drivers in 1952, the SG represented freedom and productivity. Many small businesses previously relied on bicycles, animal carts, or worn-out pre-war vehicles. Owning a dependable truck dramatically improved transportation efficiency. Fuel economy remained one of the SG's greatest strengths. Japan's post-war fuel supply was limited and expensive, so operating costs mattered enormously. Toyota designed the SG to maximize efficiency without sacrificing reliability. The lightweight body and compact engine helped reduce fuel consumption, making the truck practical for businesses operating on narrow profit margins. The SG also reflected Toyota's growing commitment to customer feedback. Engineers studied how earlier trucks performed in real-world conditions and introduced refinements based on owner experiences. This customer-focused development philosophy later became one of Toyota's defining characteristics. Rural Japan especially benefited from vehicles like the SG. Farmers could transport crops, tools, and supplies more efficiently than before. Small communities became better connected to urban markets. Trucks enabled faster movement of goods and contributed to improving living standards throughout the country. The SG truck's compact size suited Japan's narrow roads and crowded urban areas. Unlike large American pickups, the SG was designed specifically for local conditions. This practical sizing philosophy later became a hallmark of Japanese automotive engineering. Toyota's emphasis on durability became increasingly important as the company faced growing competition from other Japanese manufacturers such as Nissan, Mitsubishi, and Isuzu. Reliability helped Toyota establish a strong reputation among commercial vehicle customers. That reputation later supported the global success of models like the Helix, Land Cruiser, and Tacoma. The SG also represented an important transitional stage in Japanese automotive design. Pre-war Japanese vehicles had relied heavily on foreign influence and borrowed engineering concepts. By the early 1950s, manufacturers like Toyota were beginning to develop their own identity. The SG combined international inspiration with uniquely Japanese priorities such as efficiency, compact practicality, and affordability. Very few original SG trucks survive today because most were heavily used for commercial work and eventually scrapped during Japan's rapid modernization. Surviving examples are rare and highly valued by collectors and museums. Restored SG trucks provide fascinating insight into early post-war Japanese engineering and industrial design. Automotive historians often emphasize the SG's role in Japan's broader economic recovery. Trucks like the SG supported construction, transportation, agriculture, and local commerce during a crucial rebuilding period. While sports cars and luxury sedans attract more attention in automotive culture, practical commercial vehicles often play a far greater role in shaping economies and societies. Toyota engineers also use the SG program to refine manufacturing processes and quality control systems. The company gradually developed standardized components and assembly techniques that improved production efficiency. These methods later evolved into the famous Toyota production system admired worldwide. The SG truck's suspension system relied on traditional leaf springs, which were ideal for heavy loads and rough roads. Though not particularly comfortable by modern standards, leaf springs provided durability and simplicity. Commercial customers valued dependability above all else. Another important characteristic of the SG was ease of maintenance. Many owners performed basic repairs themselves, especially in rural areas where dealership networks remained limited. Toyota's simple mechanical layout made maintenance relatively straightforward, helping reduce operating costs and downtime. Toyota advertisements of the era focused heavily on practicality and economy. Marketing campaigns emphasized how the truck could increase productivity and support business growth. Rather than promoting luxury or prestige, Toyota highlighted dependability and low operating costs. The SG truck also demonstrated Toyota's cautious but ambitious business strategy. Instead of pursuing risky or extravagant projects, the company concentrated on building strong foundations through practical vehicles that addressed real customer needs. This disciplined approach helped Toyota survive difficult economic conditions. Japan's infrastructure during the early 1950s posed enormous challenges for vehicle manufacturers. Roads were frequently damaged, unpaved, or narrow. Weather conditions such as heavy rain and snow added further difficulties. Toyota engineered the SG to handle these realities with strong chassis construction and reliable mechanical systems. Some owners customized their SG trucks for specialized tasks. Wooden cargo beds, storage compartments, agricultural equipment, and commercial modifications were common. The truck's adaptable platform made it useful across many industries. The SG's influence can still be seen in modern Toyota trucks. Today's Helix and Tacoma models continue Toyota's tradition of emphasizing durability, practicality, and reliability. Though separated by decades of technological advancement, they share the same underlying philosophy established by early trucks like the SG. The truck's modest appearance also carried a certain honesty that many enthusiasts admire today. Every component served a practical purpose. There were no unnecessary luxury features or decorative elements. This straightforward design philosophy remains attractive to collectors of vintage utility vehicles. Toyota's growing confidence during the SG era helped prepare the company for future expansion. Successful commercial vehicles generated revenue, strengthened supplier relationships, and improved manufacturing experience. These developments laid the foundation for Toyota's later rise as a global automotive leader. The SG also reflected broader cultural and economic changes in Japan. American influence during the post-war occupation affected automotive styling and industrial methods. At the same time, Japanese engineers adapted those influences to local needs rather than simply copying foreign designs. The truck's chassis design prioritized strength and longevity. Reinforced frame construction allowed the vehicle to carry heavy loads on rough roads without excessive wear. Durability became one of Toyota's greatest competitive advantages in both domestic and international markets. Commercial vehicles like the SG are often overlooked in automotive history because they lack glamour or high performance. Yet they frequently shape societies more profoundly than sports cars. By supporting local businesses and transportation networks, trucks contribute directly to economic growth and community development. Toyota's commitment to incremental improvement became increasingly evident during the SG period. Rather than introducing radical changes, engineers focused on refining existing designs step by step. This steady approach reduced risk while gradually improving quality and reliability. The SG's small side valve engine might appear outdated today, but it offered significant advantages at the time. Simplicity improved reliability, reduced manufacturing costs, and made repairs easier. For commercial users operating in difficult conditions, these qualities mattered far more than advanced technology. The truck's manual gearbox provided durability and good low-speed control under load. Drivers operating in mountainous regions appreciated the ability to manage engine power effectively on steep roads. Toyota's commercial vehicle programs during the early 1950s also helped expand dealership and service networks throughout Japan. Reliable support systems became essential as vehicle ownership increased across the country. The SG truck represented hope and opportunity for many Japanese citizens rebuilding their lives after the war. 4. Small business owners, owning a dependable truck could significantly improve productivity and income. Vehicles like the SG helped connect communities and support economic recovery. Collectors today value surviving SG trucks not only for their rarity but also for their historical importance. These vehicles represent the beginning of Japan's transformation into a global automotive powerhouse. The SG's design also reflected Toyota's understanding of Japanese domestic life and commerce. Enlarging the cargo bed to accommodate traditional items such as tatami mats demonstrated careful attention to local customer needs. Toyota engineers prioritized practical usability over unnecessary styling gimmicks. Although the SG itself was not widely exported, the engineering experience gained from its development contributed to Toyota's later international success. Lessons learned in durability testing, manufacturing efficiency, and customer feedback shaped future vehicle programs. The SG truck's production life was relatively short, yet its influence extended far beyond its immediate commercial success. It served as a bridge between Toyota's early post-war survival period and its later growth into a globally respected manufacturer. Automotive enthusiasts increasingly recognize the importance of vintage Japanese utility vehicles. While European sports cars and American muscle cars dominate many collector circles, early Japanese trucks like the SG tell equally important stories about industrial development and social change. The SG also highlighted Toyota's ability to balance affordability with quality. Building low-cost vehicles without sacrificing reliability became one of the company's greatest strengths. Customers trusted Toyota because its vehicles consistently delivered dependable service. Japan's rapid economic growth during the late 1950s and 1960s eventually transformed the automotive market. Newer and more advanced commercial vehicles replaced earlier trucks like the SG. Most SG trucks were worked hard for many years before eventually being scrapped. Their rarity today reflects how intensively they were used. Toyota's attention to manufacturing discipline during the SG era gradually improved production consistency and quality standards. These improvements helped differentiate Toyota from some competitors and laid the groundwork for future export success. The SG truck also demonstrated the importance of lightweight design. Keeping the vehicle compact and efficient reduced fuel consumption while maintaining practical load capacity. This balance between size and utility became a key advantage for Japanese manufacturers globally. Enthusiasts who restore SG trucks often face enormous challenges because original parts are extremely scarce. Restorations may require custom fabrication and extensive research. Despite these difficulties, restored examples attract admiration at vintage automotive events because of their historical significance and charming design. The SG remains a reminder that automotive history is not defined solely by speed or luxury. Practical working vehicles often have deeper social and economic impact than glamorous performance cars. The SG helped rebuild businesses, transport goods, and support communities during a critical moment in Japanese history. Toyota's early commercial vehicles also strengthened the company's engineering culture. Teams learned how to solve practical problems efficiently and respond quickly to customer feedback. These capabilities later became major competitive advantages in global markets. Even though modern Toyota trucks use advanced electronics, powerful engines, and sophisticated safety systems, they still reflect the same core values established by early models like the SG. Durability, dependability, efficiency, and practicality. The SG's enduring legacy can be seen in Toyota's global reputation today. Millions of drivers associate Toyota trucks with reliability and long service life. That reputation was built gradually through decades of dependable vehicles, beginning with humble workhorses such as the SG. Looking back today, the 1952 Toyota SG truck represents more than just an old commercial vehicle. It symbolizes resilience, innovation, and economic recovery. It reflects Toyota's determination to improve continuously despite limited resources and difficult conditions. Most importantly, it demonstrates how simple, practical engineering can have a lasting impact on industries, communities, and history itself.